All right, guys. It's Whiskey Friday for me, and I want to tackle this subject. Is it even possible to get consistently profitable? It's one of the most common things that I see on social media. You know, people get frustrated, and this is actually why I started this channel and started the Edge Foundry, is because I was frustrated. I was 3 years in and I wasn't consistently profitable. And I had honestly been putting forth the effort. I'd been doing whatever work that I could. Everybody said, "You got to do the work." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll do the work." But I was sitting in front of screens, and this is what most of you are doing, right? You're going out on YouTube. You guys are spending countless hours watching YouTube videos, trying to figure this stuff out. You're putting the time in front of the screens. You're honest to goodness trying here. You take real money, and then you run into a bit of a psychology problem because it's scary to take real money. Spoiler alert, that's not a trading psychology problem. That's just, it's a new thing. That's all it is. It's just a new thing and it's scary when it's new. And the only thing to fix that is just time and more trades. So you run into this problem, you put in the time, you get comfortable with trading real money. You're constantly doing things that seem like progress, and in the beginning, they are legitimate progress. It's progress. You're learning technical analysis, you got your brokerage set up, maybe you've worked to fund an account, you figured out a way to do that. But by year two or three or five, people hit a brick wall and they ask this exact question. Is this even possible? They start doing some research. They see the statistics that, 90% plus traders fail on an annual basis, and over a 5 year period, more than 97% of traders fail. And of those 2+% traders who are not considered failing in a 5 year period, most of those are break even. So then you start asking, is this even possible? You start discouraging yourself. Well, hedge funds have all these resources and institutions have all of this available. We can't get our psychology right. We don't have access to the right information as retail traders. Look, guys, all of that stuff is BS. Here's where I ended up after 3 years. At the end of it, it was somebody yelling, "Well, you got to put in the work." Okay, great. And most of you are like this. You're willing to put in the work. The question is, what is the work? And for months, I asked that question. What is the work? Because, you know, showing up in front of screens obviously wasn't the work. It's not working. It didn't work for me. And I think if you're honest with yourself, it's not working for you. And it's not working for everybody else who's doing that, sitting there for 2 or 6 or 10 hours a day, just staring at screens, trying to get consistently profitable. You're not putting anything together. You're not putting a single thing together by doing that. It's not of any help whatsoever. If you follow me, you know that I'm recommending that we have an anchor point in learning. And that anchor point is logging all of your trades in a spreadsheet along with appropriate data so that you can go back and review that data and see what works, what doesn't, how are you trading it, is the way that you're trading it the best way to trade it? Is it working? Are you doing something that's not working, that's working against you? You can go back and review a whole bunch of trades at once and see, like, was the market being supportive? I can show you spreadsheets where I've highlighted my winning trades in green and my losing trades in red, which makes sense on the spreadsheet. And I can show you the information I got was so easy to read after you did that. It was literally like 8 or 10 or 12 trades in a row that got stopped out all at the same time. It's like, okay, obviously the market wasn't supporting that, right? So is it even possible? Yes, you have to put in the work, but what is the work? Well, the work is to ground yourself in the spreadsheets and the statistical analysis. And yes, if you want to become a discretionary trader, you're like, well, I don't want to become a quant trader. But the spreadsheet work is helping you to train your mind to see the patterns. The spreadsheet work is helping you to sort your psychology out because all of the uncertainty in the markets and the noise and the distraction, especially intraday news, news is kind of hit and miss, and you got to know which news hits and which news is a miss as far as what's going to move the markets. All of this creates uncertainty and chaos in your mind, and you then sum it up all as trading psychology that I need to fix. You don't. You just need to find out what matters and what doesn't, what's working and what isn't. And you do this by logging everything in a spreadsheet and getting organized. Organize all of the information so that your mind can then see it. That is what creates consistent profitability over time. That is what creates your mind being able to get trained on a discretionary edge. I didn't come up with this. This is the basic way that traders are doing it. This is the way the pros do it. This is the way hedge funds do it. Yes, not exactly. They're probably not using spreadsheets. They have fancy software and different dashboards and things to help them, but you don't need any of that. All you need is a free spreadsheet that everybody has access to on Google Sheets or Excel or wherever it is that you're getting it. Just a free spreadsheet. Learn how to use it, learn how to do the statistical analysis. It changed everything for me. It was the difference between mucking around from one trading strategy to the next, trying to find something that works. It works for a time and then it doesn't work. It works just long enough to get into real money and then it fails and I lose real money, right? That's frustrating. You don't have to keep doing that. What you do have to do is get organized. Now, for the 90% plus uh, trading psychology people, the people who truly believe that trading psychology is 90% of the problem. I tell you what, I'm going to throw you a bone. Mark Minervini says that, and I will not disagree with Mark Minervini because he is the GOAT. He is absolutely an amazing trader and a very giving person who has given so much of his trading ability to the retail crowd. But if you read his book on a winning mindset, you will understand what he means by 90% psychology because I can totally get on board with what Mark Minervini is saying. Mark Minervini is saying that you need to believe that you can achieve this. And what most of us do is we base what we can believe that we can do in the future on what we've done in the past. And it's totally errant because by that kind of reasoning, nobody would ever do anything new because they haven't done that new thing in the past. Nobody would ever learn to walk. That is a great example that he uses because as children, we've never learned to walk before. We've only, well, at first we can't even crawl, right? But we learn to walk. We keep trying and we keep failing, and there's bumps and there's bruises and there's tears, but we pick ourselves back up again and we learn to walk, even though we've never done it before. And that is where that is where psychology comes in massively in trading. I would recommend his book. What's it called? Secrets for a Winning Mindset or something like that. I'll put it up here on the screen. I would recommend Happy Money by Ken Honda. That's a great book for mindset because you do need to heal your experience around money. You need it to be safe and okay and a good positive thing to make money. So there is some trading psychology things that come into play, but let's be real here. You couldn't possibly see a hedge fund where professional traders had a trading psychologist that followed them around 90% of the time. That's not what happens. Hedge funds hire teams of quants and analysts to constantly be doing statistical analysis on strategies They don't hire in-house trading psychologists at all. They're all independent contractors. They don't exist inside of the fund, of the hedge fund itself. So maybe that can help to drive home the point that it is 90% statistical analysis, it's experience along with that 90%, and trading psychology only becomes a thing if it becomes a problem that you need to deal with. See, edge doesn't come from trading psychology. Edge comes from statistical analysis and experience. Now, trading psychology can dramatically affect your ability to execute that edge, but edge does not come from trading psychology on its own. So that's another reason why traders fail. But listen, if you're looking for me to tell you that it's possible, you know what? Don't look at me. Look at people like Mark Minervini. Look at, there's a book that I read called Momo Traders. The retail traders have done it. Look at the market wizards. Like, guys, there's tons of examples of people who have done this. I think the most effective system for you to train yourself to be a trader is to get grounded, get organized, break out a spreadsheet, start logging some trades on the strategy that you choose because I know you're willing to put in the work. Let me tell you, people are asking this question a lot, is it possible? But I actually don't see that many people out there who are not trying to put in the work. You guys are trying to put in the work, and this is what's killing me. This is why this is my mission. This is why the Edge Foundry exists, because I totally get it. I was 3 years in, and I didn't know what the next steps were. I didn't know how to get consistently profitable. And now that I've been consistently profitable, I want to share this. I want to help you get organized and grounded and start moving consistently forward. So I'm going to leave you with one last thing. And that is you need to let go of the anxiety, the excitement, whatever emotion it is that's driving you to want this next week or tomorrow or next month or whatever it is to just to get consistent profitability like right now, you need to let go of that. It's Whiskey Friday. Look, grab yourself a whiskey and try to chill out. Okay? This is one of the greatest ways to make money. It doesn't take a lot of time and it's fully scalable. The thing that people don't realize is the fact that after you get consistently profitable, we like the fact that it doesn't take much time and it's scalable so you can make a lot of money. The downside to that is that before you get consistently profitable, it's not like you can put a bunch more time in and it's effective. You for sure can put all kinds of time watching YouTube videos, watching screens. It's not effective. It's not effective. Your best bet is to show up after the markets close, log your trades, whatever happened, according to your criteria, log it, track it in a spreadsheet. It doesn't take very long. It takes like 45 minutes. I don't spend that long doing it, and I'm tracking like 3 strategies right now. And yes, I am consistently profitable, and I am still developing more strategies because you know what? I enjoy it. I actually enjoy tracking everything in a spreadsheet because it's moving me forward. I'm learning more about the markets. I'm learning more about momentum. I'm learning more about the different classes of cap sizes. I know this stuff is probably pretty advanced if you're not consistently profitable yet, but I didn't start out with this passion for the markets, and I definitely did not love spreadsheets. That's something I had to get past. So, if you're looking, is this possible? Yes. Do you need to put in the work? Yes. But you don't know what the work is yet. If you've never broken out a spreadsheet, if you haven't learned how to do a statistical analysis on the strategy that you're trying to develop, then you don't fully understand what the work is yet, but that's good. That's a good thing because if you haven't been doing this up till now, that means that there is a path forward for you. This is how the pros do it. This is how large businesses like institutions and hedge funds are set up to do it, you know, in theory, in practice, obviously they have different way of going about it, but the method is still at the heart, basically the same. You need to do some statistical analysis. Um, Most people are familiar with Mark Douglas. They don't realize that this is actually the progression that Mark Douglas encouraged traders to follow. He said, when you first start out, forget about intuition. People browse over this in the book, they completely miss this. He said, when you first start out, forget about intuition. It's not a pro. Forget about trading psychology. Forget about all of that. He said, start with a statistical edge. And he said, you need to trade that statistical edge for 10 years before you have enough experience to start relying on intuition. Well, I can tell you that intuition starts to come a little sooner than that for most people. 5, 6, 7 years, you're definitely starting to get intuitive. But again, if you're feeling a sting right now, because you're like, I'm 2 years in, I think I have intuition. It's like, just take a breath, okay? Just take a breath. Is that reasonable for you have been exposed to the markets for 2 years and now you're just like magically this great trader? Okay, just try to accept a few things. This is going to take you some time. It's going to take you some time to develop a statistical edge. It's going to take you some time to develop yourself as a trader on the discretionary side. And that's okay if you just show up consistently for 45 minutes a day and take a couple of hours on the weekend to review your trades and make some notes. That's all that's required. If you've got a full-time job, this is perfect. You can definitely do it. Is this possible? Yes, it is more than possible, but you need to get efficient and organized. And that's what we're teaching people to do here, to develop the spreadsheets. Listen, if you watch my other videos and there's something that's missing, there's some sort of information that I'm not conveying to you well, there's something that you want to know, you feel like maybe I'm gatekeeping something. Look, I'm not gatekeeping. Tell me what it is that you want to know in the comments, and I will make some videos. I will be sure to include that in the future because, like I said, this is actually close to my heart. I was very frustrated at 3 years in. I wanted to have success, and now that I have it, I really do actually want you to have success. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.